Hey guys, Captain J-Rod here. As you can see, I'm not in my usual location. I'm actually at a hotel in Fort Lauderdale right now. I'll be attending a Young Professionals Conference in Fort Lauderdale this weekend, and I decided to come down a little bit early to see what I could do Friday during the day before the conference starts Friday evening. Originally, I wanted to do some fishing, some pier fishing here in Fort Lauderdale, but it just so happens that my friends who I'm meeting here for the conference are arriving at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, Friday morning, so that doesn't leave me a lot of time to go fishing. So instead, what I've decided to do is do a tackle shop tour. And the tackle shop that I'm going to tour is not just any old tackle shop. The tackle shop I'm going to tour is called Johnny Jigs. Now, if you haven't heard of Johnny Jigs or the guys that work there, they have their own YouTube channel and they specialize in slow pitch jigging. Now, slow pitch jigging is something that was invented in Japan and has really grown in the United States over the last few months, years, and really grew a lot during the pandemic here. Now, it's something that my dad and I have adopted and we started using on the West Coast for gag grouper. We'll actually use 60 or 80 gram jigs in 35 to 65 feet of water, and we'll catch gag grouper, smaller amberjacks, grunts, and whatnot. But over here on the East Coast, they use them for pelagics, groupers, all kinds of things. And if you've seen the video on my channel of my dad catching the wahoo, he actually caught that on a slow pitch jig. We did a slow pitch jigging charter for my dad's 70th birthday, and he caught that 40-pound wahoo. So tomorrow I'm going to tour the Johnny Jigs store. I'm going to meet the owner, Johnny Stedham, and the guys that work there, and I'm going to talk to them a little bit about slow pitch jigging. I'm going to thank them for recommending the captain who we used on that charter, and we're just going to do a tour of the shop and really check it out and get some advice. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Good relationships with big tackle manufacturers like Daiwa and Mustad and some others that are globally. So we end up getting the opportunity to work on product development and testing, of real deal tackle manufacturers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
While offering those products, here and working and developing our own stuff. So
Sure.
There's a lot going on here, every single day.
For sure.
We actually have a batch of custom-made, accurate Valiant 500 Narrows coming in the door today.
Do they have the Johnny Jigs logo on them?
The logo.
Okay, awesome.
We picked the color scheme.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
They're being delivered today at some point.
Okay, cool.
Christmas morning on January 13th, once again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Captain J-Rod here. So in this video, we got Johnny Stedham right here from Johnny Jigs, and we're at the Johnny Jigs tackle shop, and we're just going to go through and we're going to talk to Johnny and the other guys about the jigs and slow pitch jigging, and just ask them a few questions and give you guys some tips.
So, Johnny, can you talk to us about the different styles of jigs, like the leaf jigs or the torpedo jigs, and what scenarios you'd want to use them in?
So, when I'm digging into my jig bag, I'm taking into consideration a few things, and a lot of times it's what's going on the water, right? What is my speed over ground? How fast is the wind pushing us? What's the current doing down below? And a lot of times, there is like a good rule of thumb just to start out. And let's say that you're in 200 feet, 200 grams would be the ideal starting point. But whenever you're picking out a shape, you also want to take into consideration, if you're moving at 2 knots is your speed over ground, then you probably want to pick a shape that's slim, that gets down fast. So whenever I'm digging into my jig bag, I look at the profile of the jig. So this is actually our wing jig here, and you can see it's got a wide flat profile on it. So this is going to tell me that this jig's probably not going to be the greatest if we're moving fast, because it's going to scope out quickly. Something cool about the back of our packages here on Johnny Jigs is we actually have a little graph here that'll tell you. So this one's clearly a high flutter. It's got pretty decent fall speed, but it's not the greatest for current right there. So really what you're trying to do whenever you're selecting a jig is you want to be able to tap bottom multiple times. So if you drop your jig down to the bottom and you tap bottom and then you go to tap bottom again and it's scoped out and you can't feel bottom, something's wrong, right? So you need to change 2 things, one or both of the 2 things, and that's the shape of the jig, so it gets down faster and has better bottom time, or B, you need to go heavier with the jig. So just to kind of show you guys, this one will fool you. This is our flatty, but it also has a flat surface and it has a ton of hang time, so it's not ideal for heavy current conditions. Something that I would pick out, people always ask me if you had to pick one jig. Well, I'm going to pick a jig that I know that I can get down quickly and keep it on the bottom. But what you lose in that is flutter. So you're not getting as much hang time with the jig. And I'm going to tell you that from my experience on the water, 90 to 95% of your strike is going to be on the fall. So that flutter is important, but if you can't tap bottom and you can't feel bottom, you're going to have to sacrifice flutter for being able to get down to the bottom. So a jig that I would pick out to stay down and have better time on the bottom. Let's see if I can find it. This is our new tuna teaser. We've got a new lineup of these. You guys probably saw these on our Instagram at Johnny Jigs. So you could see that it's kind of rounded. It's very pointy at the tips. This gets down quickly, and this will help you tap the bottom.
Awesome.
This is 1,000 grams, right? So what this means is that you're going to be exhausted trying to work this jig. It's incredibly heavy and it's not very practical, right?
Are they making like heftier rods to handle those types of jigs?
Yep. So there is 1,000 grams rods. Actually, you can find one at johnnyjigs.com. We have the Ocean Legacy Elementus Deep. Okay. It's actually rated for 1,000 grams. There is not many of them out there, but there are conditions, just like I was saying before, where you can't tap bottom. And if you're in a scenario to where you've ran out, 20, 30, 40, 50, however many miles, where you've spent that time and fuel to get to that fishing spot, you want to be able to fish, right? And sometimes this is your only option. Right. So you keep it in your bag. You hope you don't have to break it out, but if you need it, you got it.
Wow. And are people using those to like target swordfish, Warsaw grouper? Or?
You can get down in the sword grounds, but deeper water species, obviously like the golden tile, snowy grouper, yellow edge grouper, queen snapper. It depends on where you're fishing. Obviously, we definitely had swordfish in mind whenever we had this jig.
Okay. Can you talk to me about these, what you called Baku jigs? Haven't seen those before.
Ball jig.
Ball jig, yeah.
Ball jig before.
Yeah.
What's another name we could come up with this? The meatball jig?
Eyeball jig.
The eyeball jig. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. It's definitely a concept that comes out of Japan. Some of these Japanese anglers are just incredible and clever with a lot of the stuff that they come up with. But this is our version of the Baku jig.
Okay.
And so I've caught everything on this, from snapper to grouper, and the idea is that you drop this down and you do a slow retrieval up.
Okay.
You're not working it like you would a traditional slow pitch jig or another jig. So to be honest with you, I've actually tipped this with squid as well. There has been times, and that's like total sacrilege whenever you're jigging, right?
Yeah.
Tipping your, but I've done it and I've caught fish on it, so why not, right?
Right.
And just another level of honesty here, I've taken this and put it in the rod holder, dropped it down, and then dropped the jig on the other side of the boat and caught fish on it just from the movement of the boat. But it's a very productive jig. We actually have it in 60 grams, and I believe we go up to 120 grams on it, 150 grams. Yep. So it's a productive tool to have in your box that catches fish.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so Johnny, talk to me about this rod here that has no guides on it. That's really interesting.
That's like the first thing that you notice when you look at this thing. You're like, why doesn't it have guides on it? And there's no tip wrapping, right?
Okay.
How are you gonna tip wrap if you don't have any guides on it? So this is a rod that's made by Temple Reef. They have every power level in this rod, and what happens is the line actually goes in from here into the center of the rod blank and then out the tip here. And so they've made these for deep dropping as well as shallow water. This is just a super innovative product that's made by a company that has been really on the forefront of slow pitch jigging and building rods, which is Temple Reef. We've actually got one of our team members is in the Maldives right now, Eddie, and they're all fishing this rod right now, and they've been absolutely crushing it out there. But I think the best part about this is the fact that you don't get wrapped up, and that's something that happens to us quite often, especially if you get tight on a fish and it wraps around your guides and then the fish pulls. Now you're losing guides all the way down the rod. So that eliminates that. So it eliminates error on the water and keeps you fishing more than fixing your fishing equipment. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting rod that definitely has taken the slow pitch jigging world by storm. So.
Sure. How do you thread the line through the rod?
It actually comes with like a little tool that will slide through, grab the line, and you pull it back through. What I've done is I actually will tie my top shot on and then thread my fluorocarbon through and slide it through.
Yeah.
If you're using an FG knot or a PR knot, it's going to work just fine for you. You're going to want to stay away from other knots like the Alberto or blunt knot. It's going to be just a little bit too thick. You need definitely a streamlined knot to get through the guides, and staying under 60-pound fluorocarbon is my suggested amount. You may be able to fit more, but
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, I appreciate everything that you've done. Met you guys for the first time today, and you were happy to film this video.
You're welcome.
And appreciate it. And I'll have all your information linked in the description below.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.